This is WT for TST, and this evening we're joined by someone you might not have heard of. However, let me tell you, this is going to be an interesting one. Jamie Speight. How are you doing, mate?
How are you, mate? I'm good, thank you. You all right? You keeping all right?
Very well, mate. Very well. You're looking very flush in that robe, my friend.
Just comfy homeware, mate, isn't it? Only just started. It's been hung on the back of my bedroom door since last winter, and it started to get a little bit nippy now. So I thought, right, come on, it's time to put the cold weather gear back on.
Right, mate. First time on TST, what we like to do is go back to your upbringing, your childhood, where it all started for you, and then ultimately how you entered the boxing world. So your journey story started in Devon.
It did indeed, yeah, and it's continued in Devon for the most part. I've had, I only had a little bit of time. I was away I was in Leeds training with Josh Warrington, but we'll come on to that later on, no doubt. But yeah, majority in Devon, started in Devon, and here I still am.
So what was school life for you? What was that like?
School's all right. School was how I got into boxing originally, in primary school. Generally, I was the laugher and the joker. I was always the kid that had to be the centre of attention, the kid that had to be seen, had to be heard. That was me. But I was picked on in my early school years. Primary school, I was about between five. From about five, it started. The same 5 kids would bully me day in, day out. Started off name calling, nitpicking, stuff like that. And then it became physical. Well, I was getting it and stuff like that. And then one day, my old man and mum kept going into the school. Nothing was done about it, time and time again. So my old man said, right, that's it, take it into the boxing gym. And that is where the story started. I think I was about 7 when I first walked in the boxing gym. It was a pro gym, and my old man used to train there before work. He used to work on the door down in town, and him and all the door team used to have a boxing session on a Friday night before they started work. So he started taking me with him to that first.
What, like
so
a warm-up session?
Yeah. Basically, get the tools ready for a night's work, I suppose. So, and that was back in the days when door work was proper work, not like now when you got to stand there looking smart with your arms folded and you can't say a boo to a goose. But yeah, so I started going down with him and training a bit there, learning from an old guy there. And then obviously once I liked it, got good at it, I had to go to an amateur gym in order to fight. So I think you have to be 11 to box. So I stuck at it for a few years before I even got my first bout under me belt.
So before we go into the amateurs, can we just go back and say, so you went to this boxing gym, yeah? You learned how to look after yourself. Yeah. Did you sort the bullies out? What happened?
I did, yeah. Not until later on. I think it was secondary school. It just gave me a bit of confidence at primary school and took my mind off it, I think. I mean, now as an adult looking back, when you're bullied, it must ruin your world. So it just took my mind off what I was going through at school, and I was concentrating on my newfound hobby that I loved, and being the brash, outspoken child that I was happy and keen to tell everybody, I'm a boxer now. Yeah, and then when I got to secondary school, I bumped into the kids. By the time I was about 12, I'd found my feet a little bit and thought, you know what, I can actually do this. Not bad at this. I can look after myself. Give a couple of the lads a whack and yeah, got told off. But when I got told off, my mum was absolutely livid, having a go at me, saying that you shouldn't be violent, you can't be hitting people. My mum's a Scouser, as you can see.
I'm gonna say.
Yeah, mum's a Scouser, so she, don't you be hitting people, lad. And then my old man said, nah, not at all. It's a life lesson. He's sticking up for himself. So that was it. I stuck at it and didn't get bullied again, which I suppose is a good thing.
So then we're into the amateurs.
Yeah, I had my first amateur fight when I was 11. Won it, which is good. And I stayed as amateur, I think, when I turned pro. I think I was 19 when I signed my contracts, but I didn't have my pro debut until I was 20. So I had a long amateur career. I think I had about 70 odd fights. Won probably 3/4 of them. I've not a bad amateur career, to be honest. I boxed some really, really good kids. I boxed former British middleweight champion Tommy Langford. I boxed him 4 times, Tommy. We won a few each. I boxed Sam Maxwell, who's now signed with Frank Warren. I boxed him in the semi-finals of the ABAs, and it was back when it was computer scoring. I lost by 1 punch on countback, so very, very tight. And then he went through to the final, and I think he had Martin Ward. Martin Ward, who used to be the bantamweight, boxed Lee Askins, and I think Sam Maxwell didn't turn up, and I was gutted because I didn't get a call back. But yeah, so I had not a bad amateur career, and then the time came, and it was always I'm in love. I've been in love with the sport since I was a boy. I see it as that's what saved me from being bullied. You know what I mean? I was like distraught and devastated at being bullied, and I felt like you feel like your life's falling apart. But boxing pulled me through that, made me a better person. Yeah, so I owe a lot to boxing, a lot.
So I'm going to fast forward. 2009, your pro debut against a guy called Pavel Senkovs. That was April 2009. Yep. You then went 7 unbeaten. I guess the guy that beat you, Nigel Wright. How did that feel from going through the amateurs and into your pro? You win your first 8 fights, 7 fights, and then a loss. How does that feel for the first time?
Heartbreaking. It was absolutely heartbreaking. But it's hard because, like, my old manager at that point, I mean, I'm still friendly with him now. He's a lovely old boy, Nigel Christian. But he's not known for training champions, and he doesn't have that champion mindset. He's very much a money man. And I feel that he knows that I shouldn't have been in there with Nigel Wright. I'm a 7-0, unbeaten, young prospect rising through the ranks. Nigel Wright had boxed for the British and Commonwealth title, beat Lenny Dawes. He was like no cream of the crop. He's a good kid. And I'm stepping up weight divisions. So he told me that it was a good opportunity. You're on Sky Sports, which I was. I think that was my first fight on Sky, that. And he talked me into it. And he started telling me things like, you know, he's old, he's on the slide. He's on his way down the hill. You're coming up, you can beat him. And as a young, unbeaten pro, you think you're untouchable. So I thought, yeah, you know what? I will beat him. When I got in there, mate, he was just too good. I wasn't outclassed. I was beat up for the first, I think it was a 6-rounder. And I think it got stopped in round 5, the end of round 5, I think. But round 5 was my best round of the fight. The first 4 rounds, I was just being beat to the punch. He was a tall southpaw, fantastic natural ability, great boxing skills. I couldn't really get near him. And then in round 5, I started to land a few, and I was, you know, having a good round. And then he caught me with a good shot. I stumbled back. He stepped back in to land a few more. And as he started throwing, the referee just stopped it. And I suppose the referee was looking at me as a young kid, unbeaten. I was in deep. The referee can see that. He's not stupid. And he probably just thought, save me getting hurt anymore. You know, there's no point me seeing the fight out, is there? Because I might end up getting hurt, and it might turn me away from the sport. So, yeah, the referee done the right thing. And at the time, it's horrendous. You feel like all your hard work in your pro career up to that point is then been undone. You feel like, you know, you're back from square one. You know, you're back to scratch. But yeah, it was hard. I got over it in the end. But yeah, it wasn't very nice, especially because there was so much riding on it. First time live on Sky. But
does that affect your mindset? You know, first time on telly, walking out. You know, you're probably thinking, "Shit, everyone's going to watch this that I know."
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. Well, because you know that it's not just who's in that arena watching you. You know, it's X amount of thousands around the country watching it. So, you know, it does play on your mind, especially at that stage in my career. I was probably only about 21. About 21, I think I was. So I'm a young kid, inexperienced, not just in boxing, but in life. I'm very inexperienced. And yeah, it affected me. I was worried. I was nervous going out. But like they say, you learn 10 times more from a loss than you do from a win. Not just about boxing, but about yourself. And can you go again? Can you pull yourself back together and crack on? So, you know, I don't regret anything that I've done in my career. So, all good.
Good stuff, mate. And then you've been on some massive shows, some massive names. Got a few here: Josh Warrington, Isaac Lowe, Gavin McDonald, Joe Cordina, Reece Bellotti. Talk us through a couple of your favourite of them fights. If you've got.
Let's go. I love them all. I love a good fight. There's nothing wrong with a good fight. Win, lose or draw, it's all good. But I've been a few. There's been a few where I've been on the road. I've been in the away fighter, and I don't know how much you know about boxing. And to be honest, I didn't know this until I actually experienced this side of the game. When they say you've got to knock them out to get a draw, couldn't be more real. When you turn up as the away fighter, you're not the commodity. You are not selling tickets. So you're not earning the promoter any money. You're not earning the show any money. The promoter's fighter is the one that's selling the tickets. So he's the commodity. You're never going to get that win, because if you get that win, that kid's fans don't come again and he might not even box again. So you're potentially losing him money. So it is what it is. It's weird. But when I box...
So just go before you say that. So what you just said there. So if you're the away fighter, and let's imagine you do win, is that you feeling guilty then? Is that what you're saying?
I wouldn't feel guilty for winning. No, not at all. I wouldn't feel guilty. But I must say, in the last few years, I've not tried to win once. Not even tried. I've gone out and won, and not been given the victory. I mean, if I was to have my record here, I could go down through my record and say, I beat him, because I know, and I'm an honest man. If I lose, I hold my hands in the air and say, yeah, I lost, fine, no problem. But there's a few that I haven't lost in, and it's just one of them. You get on with it. It's a harsh reality of boxing, mate. If you're not earning anyone money, if you're not selling the tickets and earning the money, they don't care about you. All you are is you're there to take a beating. That's it. And to pad this kid's record. And like you say, with my record, who I've been in with, what I've done, I've been a three-time two-weight champion. No, 4-time. I've won it 4 times at 2 different weights, southern area. So that makes me, it's a nice little badge, innit, on their chest. They beat me, they can go, oh, I beat ex-champion so-and-so. So, it is what it is. But yeah, going back to what you were saying, the fight, the Josh Warrington fight, obviously he's now cream of the crop. He's, in my opinion, he's the best featherweight on the planet. People avoid him because of how busy he is. He's a very busy fighter. He can punch as well, which a lot of people don't say about him. He can punch. But my fight with Josh was, I come up a bit unstuck in the sense, my trainer at the time, he was having issues with his ex-missus, which is the daughter, the mother of his child. And the night before the weigh-in, so the Thursday night, we were weighing in on the Friday, fighting on the Saturday. He phoned me up. It was late. It was like, I don't know, 9 o'clock on a Thursday evening. And obviously in my head, I'm thinking, right, in the morning, we're getting off. So I live in a block of apartments. So the buzzer's gone. I've answered it. He said, all right, Jay. He said, can I come in? I went, yeah. Thought a bit weird. He's come in and he's basically told me that his ex-missus said he's got to have his daughter. Otherwise, she's going to go to the CSA and give him a nightmare. So he basically said, I can't come. I said, mate, she's known about it for weeks. What do you mean? So then from that point on, my head was scrambled. I had to ring my manager, Nigel Christian. He was my manager at the time. And I hadn't seen him for 12 weeks. I've been training with my trainer 3 times a day, 6 days a week. And then that's it. Boom, gone. My head scrambled. I couldn't remember any of the pad stuff we'd done. And it was all over the shop. So we drove up for the weigh-in. Got it all done, made the weight, so on and so forth. When we boxed, it was hard. I couldn't warm up because Nigel's a 70-year-old man. He's not very good on the pads and stuff. I was getting frustrated. So in the end, I just got in and did what I could do. You can watch the Josh Warrington fight, me and Josh on the internet still. It was a good fight. I done all right. I mean, they gave the scoring widely to him, but I thought I played a good part in the fight. I've done a better job than Lee Selby, in my opinion. I made it more competitive. Lee Selby was, Lee's a fantastic fighter, but he was pretty much just beat down for the whole fight against Josh. Whereas I actually gave him a bit back. But that's one that I'll always remember, and that's one that'll always stick in my head, because after the fight, I had a chat with his dad, Sean, who's his trainer. Sean said to me, "You're a nice lad." He said, "If that ever happens again with your trainer," he said, "let me know. Give me his number." He said, "And I'll come and I'll help. I'll corner you." And I went, "I appreciate that, mate." So me and Sean stayed in touch for a couple of months after the fight. And then he said to me, "Why don't you come up and train with us?" That was it. Packed my bags. And I was in Leeds for about 2.5 years on and off. So I'd do like 12 to 15 week training camp up there. And then I'd come home for a couple of weeks after the fight. And then I'd go back. And after 2.5 years, it was just getting, it's tedious, isn't it? Always away. And it's a long old drive. So it just wasn't for me. So I come back to Devon. But I learned more in that 2.5 years about my style and boxing in general than I've ever learned anywhere else. And Sean still now is probably the best coach I've ever worked with. The way that he breaks things down, he was fantastic. And we're still good friends, me and Sean. I still speak to Sean a fair bit. So, that was the one that sticks out, especially you go and see what he's done. Gavin McDonald, again.
Before you move on, talk about them. Talk to me about them Leeds fans.
They are ferocious, and Josh must be very, very proud, because they want blood for him every single time he fights. And when I boxed him, I remember I was shocked. Bearing in mind, Josh he was an unknown name when I boxed him. He just won the English title. I think he won it against Chris Mayle he went away to Birmingham, an away fight. He was the away fighter, and he went and picked up the English title, which is fantastic. So then I was his first defence, and I was shocked that when we got to the weigh-in on like a working day, Friday, that how many people are taking the day off work to come and sit in this little, I think it was like Leeds Corn Exchange or something, to sit in the hall. And I was shocked, thinking, "Dear, what's going on here? It's a bit much." And then when it came to the ring walk, I used to come out to all of the lights, what Kell Brook uses, Kanye West, and you're listening for that bit where it goes from slow and it kicks in, and I couldn't hear it because all I could hear was boo. They were booing me. Like, I think it only held about between 12 and 1,500 people in the venue, but the noise was atrocious, and I knew straight away that I wasn't very well liked. They were booing, and I just thought, dear me. And then at the end, they were all like, they booed me at the end when they give the decision. I raised Josh's hand, and after they booed me, I was going, "Calm down," and then they all started laughing and going, "Ray," cheering me. And then Josh told them off and said, have a bit of respect. But then they're all fine afterwards. They were good as gold, nice people. But yeah, he's got the most ferocious support I've ever known. Since Ricky Hatton, probably. But yeah, it was a really good stage in my career, going up there and training with them. And we would spar every weekend with Gavin and Jamie McDonald.
Yeah, well, you're about to go on to say that you've fought.
Yeah, who I boxed Gav, yeah. But prior to me boxing him, this is why when they offered me the fight, I took it and I was happy with it, because I've sparred so many rounds with him. We used to go down there every Saturday morning, down to Doncaster, and we'd spar with them in Saturday morning, and then that would be it. That would be a weekly thing. And when I boxed Gav, personally, Sean done my corner actually for that. Josh's dad, I phoned Sean, and he said, "All right, Speight, man, I'll come and do your corner for you, mate." And I went,
That's pretty good. That's good, mate.
Yeah, see that? Accents as well I can do. So yeah, he came down and met me. We done the corner, and Sean thought I deserved a draw. At least Sean said, "I think you deserve a draw there." And again, it was a good fight. I knew that Gav didn't pose me much of a threat with regards to power. He is bigger, as in height wise and that, but it was a good fight. And I thought, again, the scoring didn't reflect it. It was wide because, back to what I said earlier, home fighter, he's the commodity. And what he's a former world title challenger, British Commonwealth European champion. So, yeah, but again, it was a good fight. I enjoyed it. Trying to think, Isaac Lowe, I boxed Isaac Lowe for the English on Josh Warrington's undercard at the Leeds Arena. I think it was in 2015. And again, I would have said he ran away with the first 2-3 rounds. I took a while to warm into it, and then I'd done well then. I was making a good go of it. And when it went into round 9, I don't think we could have been far off level. It was a pretty even fight, pretty even contested. And the stoppage was awful. The referee stopped me in the 9th. He threw a 4-punch combination, and out of the 4 shots, 1 got through, and my legs dipped a little bit, but I didn't dip. I wasn't uncontrollable. My legs dipped, but my hands were up. I was moving my head. He then jumped on me and let his hands go. And I was rolling and catching and trying to get out of the situation I was in. And the referee just stopped it. And I'd complained, but the way I see it is the rules of boxing are, if you cannot intelligently defend yourself, you should be stopped. Now, to me, hands high and your head moving, that's pretty intelligent defence. But end of the day, I'm not the ref, I'm the fighter, so I just do as I'm told. But yeah, like you say, I've been in with some good names. The Reece Bellotti was good, but he's not a fantastic boxer, like technical boxer. He can punch a bit to the body. Didn't punch very hard to the head. Can punch to the body. He broke 2 of my ribs and popped 1 off the cartilage in round 6. He hit me with a body shot and done me ribs. And I tried not to let him know that was that. Boxed on for 2 rounds. And then he caught me on the ropes in round 8. So I just tried, from round 6 to round 8, I tried to keep him long. So I was just throwing combinations, long shots, trying to keep him away. And when he pinned me on the ropes in round 8, he whacked me right on the ribs. And it was bad, like painful. So I dipped a little bit, but I still wouldn't go down. So I carried on trying to fight. He kept throwing and the referee just saved me. And I didn't actually complain at that stoppage because I was in pain. So you can't complain at every stoppage, can you? Only the ones that you feel are worthy of being complained about. So, yeah. And then out of all the fighters I've been in with, the most talented is Joe Cordina by a country mile. He was absolutely unbelievable. Unbelievable fighter, unbelievable. His technical gift of boxing is incredible.
And you'd sparred with him before fighting him, hadn't you?
I'd sparred with him before fighting him, yeah. I'd sparred with him a few rounds up at Newport, Tony Ball's gym, because I got up there a fair bit. I was Andrew Selby's main sparring partner for his first probably 7 fights of his pro career. So I used to go up spar with Andrew. I'd done a few rounds of Lee up there. And Joe Cordina was in the amateur setup then, and I'd sparred with him. And that's why when I was offered the fight, I thought, do you know what? We've had good, even spars. Yeah, I'll have a go at that. But little did I know that he had been his improvement from turning pro over with Tony Sims. He'd gone up 10 levels in such a short space of time. And I mean, I'm a clever fighter. I'm a very clever fighter. I'm intelligent in the ring, a good like technical boxer. And he was about 10 steps ahead of me at all times in the ring. He was unbelievable. He was so good. And I told him that after the fight. I stopped and I chatted with him in the change rooms, and I just said to him, look, keep doing what you're doing. I'm shocked at how good you are. So yeah, I've had a good old run, haven't I?
Yeah, well, this is the bit now. So I'm going to read this actually, because you describe yourself on Twitter as a dedicated pro fighter, 3-time 2-weight Southern Area champion, 2-time English title challenger, IBO and WBC Silver International Challenger. Some career in it.
Yeah, it's not bad going, mate, is it? It's not bad going for just a little old country bumpkin from Devon.
Now, the other side of that, 46 losses. Yeah. And you've stated in the past that, I think it was after the Bellotti fight, correct me if I'm wrong, but after the Bellotti fight, you chose a different path. Talk to us about that.
Yeah. Obviously, by the time the Bellotti fight come around, I've been in boxing a long time. I've been, right now, up to where we are, I've been pro 11 years. I've had 60-odd pro fights. As an amateur, I've been in the gym since I was 7 years old. I've had 20, I think it's about 25 years I've been boxing. So it's a long time. And I'd got to that point with the Bellotti fight where I tried everything. I tried absolutely everything other than being the away fighter on the road. Boxing was costing me more money than I was earning, because when I was selling tickets and stuff like that, is you either don't sell enough tickets to cover everything, so you get a cut of pay, and then obviously you can't expect to sell, you can't fight 8 times a year and expect people to spend money 8 times a year, quite a lot of money. So I weighed it all up and I thought, right, well, to be honest, it took me months to make the decision because I'm a proud man, and I couldn't get my head around you're going into a ring and knowing you're going to lose, and that's what took me so long. I had to really sit down and talk to myself about it and build my brain around that. And once I'd accepted it, they phoned up for the Joe Cordina fight. I think it was literally weeks after the Bellotti fight. I boxed Bellotti, and then I sort of made that decision. I was sitting around thinking about it, and then I remember the phone call coming in, do you want to fight Joe Cordina? And I thought to myself, it was probably around then, actually, because I remember thinking when I got the Cordina shout that he wouldn't be that, I sparred with him. He's not, he's a good fighter, but I didn't know he'd got as good as he had got. So I remember taking it thinking, I'm going to have a good go here and I can maybe get a draw, get a win. If I get a win, I'm back up there. And after I got in that ring and he was that good and I lost, I think it was at that point after the Cordina fight that I went, that's it for me now. I'm going to just earn money. I'm going to lose. So, yeah, I come with it and that was it. And I always kept the same thing in my head, and that was that I'm happy helping people. I'm happy to improve a kid's ability and help them the best I can. But you've got to be polite. If I turn up to a weigh-in and the kid's arrogant, he's rude, he's like giving it all the big I am, I'm quite happy to try and fill him in. But if you're just, because boxing's supposed to be a gentleman's sport. Now, when two men are in the ring punching lumps out of each other, how can you not respect that man? I don't understand it. And I don't know how their fans can be so rude to people. You know, every fighter that steps in that ring puts their life on the line, and we've seen that. So, yeah, if they're nice to me and they're polite and they're respectful, I'll give them advice and I'll help them and hopefully improve them on the job. If they're rude, I'll try and fill them in. And I haven't had many rude, to be fair.
So when you're talking about you being an away fighter and you're going in, were you never trying to win then? You just accepted you were going to lose and that's it?
Yeah, I haven't tried to win, mate, for a long time. And because how can you help somebody when you're trying to fill him in? It's a bit weird, isn't it? You know what I mean? If I'm either helping you or I'm filling you in, you can't do a bit of both.
Yeah, but look at the opposite. If you're helping them, they're filling you in. You're helping them.
Yeah, but the way I look at it is, I don't often leave a ring with damage, to be fair. I'm very good. I'm a good mover, very elusive, good head movement, good foot movement. I'm a wily old fox now in this game. I've been doing it that long. I know how to keep myself safe. So I agree to this. You know what I mean? When I signed that contract to be a professional, I agreed to let people punch me in the face. So you can't really complain about it too much, can you?
So people would refer to you as a journeyman, yeah, but you don't see it that way, do you?
No, because it's hard, isn't it? Because it's weird. Journeyman's got that word journeyman. It's got that little
stigma.
It's like stigma about the word in there, and there is for me even now. And I've been doing it for a while now. But I've been a champion. I've won the Southern Area title 4 times at 2 different weights. Should be 3 different weights because I got robbed blind again. Away fighter shock. But it should be 4 times 3 weight Southern Area champion, but it's not because of these terrible robbing judges. So yeah, 2 times. But it's one of them, mate. It's a hard game, innit? End of the day, it's a hard game, and I've been on the good and the bad end of it. So me as a person, I feel better in myself helping these kids along. And I say it to the lads that I train now. I train 3 pros now. And I say to them, I wish that I had somebody like me to help me through when I started out. Somebody who'd been there and done it on every level, on every side. So, yeah, I've enjoyed it and I'm still enjoying it. And it ain't over yet.
So when you're in the ring then, as the away fighter, and you're talking about helping these kids, you're talking to them, are you? You're like on the job coaching type thing.
Yeah, you. If you speak to, I'm trying to think, Martin Theobald. Do you know who Martin Theobald is?
No.
He's he works for Steve Goodwin. He does like my manager, Steve Goodwin. He works for Steve Goodwin, and he does like a thing called Ring Talk. I was on there last week, I think. They had me on as a guest, and he says he's always shocked. He's always shocked because I'm talking the whole way through the fight. Every time he's ringside and I'm fighting, he said, I can't believe it. All I can hear is you talking, giving advice. He said, I find it so bizarre. They're trying to knock your head off and you're talking to them all nice and politely. But my new approach to it now is some people don't like it. If the fighter doesn't like it, I don't really mind. It don't bother me. But I don't want their trainers to feel like I'm treading on their toes or trying to teach their lad something that they couldn't, because I'm not like that. So what I've started to do in my last few fights now and the latter end of my career now, I've been going into the changing room to speak to the team without the fighter being there, or collar just one of the coaches and say, listen, mate, if you hear me speaking to him, I'm not being rude. I'm not undermining what he was saying. I'm just giving him advice, sound advice on the job, because there's no better place to learn than while you're doing it. Because think about it this way. You have a fight. I think of all the emotions you go through when you win, stuff like that. And then all the amount of text messages you get off friends and family and this, that, and the other. Then you have 2 weeks out of the gym to rest and recover. So after all of that, how are you supposed to remember what you did wrong and what you could do better? It's very hard. Whereas if I'm teaching you on the job, you can try it there and then the muscle memory will start to sit and maybe you won't do that again. That's the way I look at it anyway.
Mate, I said to you off camera, I think it's a real strange way of looking at things, but also, I think you've just got to say, wow, what a guy, because there's not many people that are gonna do that, or even have the mindset or intelligence to do that. Yeah,
who said boxers are thick? It's not very fair, is it?
No one said that, mate. Right, so now you're a trainer. You mentioned your 3 lads that you're training. Is this journey that you've been on, the away fighter, the coaching, the kids in the ring against you? Is this what it's all been leading up to? Your experience?
Yeah. I've always known for a long time now that I'm in this for life. It's been, you know what I mean? It's been the best relationship I've ever had, boxing. You know what I mean? And it is. Because I've not fallen out in love with it. It's given me so much in my life, mentally and physically. I owe everything to boxing. It's made me the man that I am. I wouldn't be sat here now, the man that I am, and the feelings that I have towards certain things without boxing. So it's all been leading to this point, and I believe the road that I've been down, and I've been on so many different levels of the game, like obviously title levels, stuff like that, home fighter, away fighter. I've been through every scenario, stoppages, being stopped, losing on points, winning on points, been on big shows. That gives me a fantastic base for a trainer. I've had these experiences, so I can pass on the best knowledge possible to my lads. And this is what I say to them in the gym. My job is to make sure that none of you make the mistakes that I've made. None. Any mistakes that I've made, I might have made, but I've learned the lessons for them. So them lessons give me the ammo to make sure that you don't make them. So yeah, it's been enjoyable. More than anything, I'll be able to, when I retire, I'll be able to sit back and I'll look back on my career and where I've been, who I've been in with, who I've met, what I've done, and I'll be very, very happy.
How many fighters do you want then? How many do you want in your stable, if you like?
I don't have a number. I just want everyone to be happy. I think being happy is very important. A happy fighter is a dangerous fighter. So, if you're to see me train in the gym, I'm always taking the piss. We have a laugh in the gym because it's not supposed to. If you want to make it hard work, then it'll be hard work and it will be a slog and it will be not enjoyable. So it's my job as a trainer to keep it lighthearted, have a laugh, and it's just clever training. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I'll have as many people as want to come, as long as I can give them my best efforts. I don't want to be overrun where they're only getting 60% of me. I want to make sure they're getting my full attention and I'm doing the best for them I can. So again, it's a work in progress. I'll just see when I get to a point where I've got too many and I'm too busy, then obviously I know I'll have to get a bit of help. But for now, I'm happy.
Good stuff, mate. Right, we're going to finish this up. I always finish this up with a few questions from the viewers or the followers. Some of them are weird. Yours are all right. So I'll start with Tom. Might be an obvious one. When you do retire, not that that's now, but when you do, what will you look back on your career as a highlight or the best moment in your career?
I got asked this last week, I think, on Ring Talk, and I'm pretty sure it would be either, in hindsight, you could say it would be boxing Josh Warrington, losing on points after a good effort. I raised his hand, and then I was booed by the crowd. And then afterwards, I went like that, and they all cheered me again, and they all cheered me, and it was all good. And then to see where he's gone on to and what he's been and done, I think that's got to be a highlight. And if not, the other one would be walking out at a packed out O2 to contest the WBC international title against Reece Bellotti. I mean, there was probably about 20,000, I don't know. It was ram-packed. And we were chief support, so we were one under the headliner, which was Frank Buglioni versus Ricky Summers. So it was like primetime TV, ram-packed, and to hear your name called out in that massive arena and that ring walk, it was something special.
Good too, mate. Right, Jay wants to know if your journey was made into a film, who would you want to play you?
It'd have to be someone ugly and under fucking 5'10". Yeah.
Give us a name, come on.
Who would I want to play me?
What are you saying, Danny DeVito then? Is that what you're saying?
Danny DeVito is probably the most likeness for height. You have to give him a wig. You'd have to give him a wig because I ain't bald yet, and I don't think he's going inside.
Steady.
My old man says to me all the time, my old man's bald, and he says, "You're going to end up bald." I said, "No, I'm not. See, my granddad's there. My granddad's got a right mop on him. I've obviously got a bit in me, ain't I?"
And the last one, mate, there's a girl that always messages him, and I've decided now I'm not going to take any more messages from her, and I'm just going to use her question because all you boxers come alive when this question's asked. So, is this the same question she gives every week? Yeah. So now I'm not responding anymore, and I'm just going to use it as my question. So, my question to you is, what's your top 3 chocolate bars?
Yeah, that is a serious question, isn't it? Keely, what's my top 3? Do you know? A Mars bar's got to go in there. It's got to be. A Mars bar's just always, it's always a good one, isn't it? A Snickers is always a winner, or a marathon, whatever you want to call it.
Snickers now, mate.
Yeah, they're changing it back, weren't they?
Are they?
I thought they were changing it back. I thought they changed it back to marathon. I'm sure I heard that somewhere. Either it's that, or I have some weird dreams.
I don't know. I heard that, mate, but I think someone wants your attention behind you there.
Yeah, that's my Rottweiler.
Can imagine you walking it down the street.
Yeah, honestly, mate, I've got 2 of them. It's the missus's choice of dog, and people like obviously locally, everybody knows who I am, and they must say, "Oh, I've seen that professional boxer Jamie Speight walking his 2 little ferrets." Honestly, 2 across the rain. I look so. It's ridiculous. 2 little things.
Come on, top chocolate bar. What's number 1?
Right. What? Yeah, it could be. Don't make me sound greedy. I have it every night. It's an absolutely disgusting word to say. Right. Mars bar, definitely. Dairy milk, fruit and nut.
Yeah.
Fruit and nut's a winner. And my last one's it's got to be a Snickers, I think. Mars bar, Snickers, dairy milk, fruit and nut.
Dairy milk, fruit and nut, and the Snickers have been the most popular so far. Everybody said them too that I've asked. But anyway. Yeah. Right, mate. Well, listen, that's been great. Thank you for your time. Anything that you want to say to the viewers or sponsors or anything like that?
No, thank you all for tuning in. And keep boxing alive. Keep watching it. Actually, just before we finish, can I ask you a question about last night? So you've talked about the judges quite a lot today. Did you watch it last night? Please don't tell me you're going to say about. Have you seen the picture of this going around on the internet? Yeah, with the phone. Terry O'Connor on his phone.
Yeah. What's your thoughts?
That's shocking, that is. And that goes back to what I was saying. It's about, this sport is built on respect. Now, as a referee, you're in there and you're the closest person to the action. You can almost feel them shots. You can hear them landing. So you should have the utmost respect for the two fighters in the ring. And he's showing absolutely zero respect. He's not even interested. He's looking at his phone. I've seen other people say maybe it's a pen and paper for his marking. Well, why is he looking at it? You don't have to look at what you know what I mean? He's not writing. He's looking like that. And that's it. He should just be sacked off. There's no, what could you say about that? You can't say, oh, sorry. You know what I mean? Oh, sorry, my wife texted me. Well, your phone should be in your bag, mate, on silent, and you should be concentrating on these people who are risking their lives. Yeah, so my opinion is that he should be completely just struck off straight away and never allowed to ref or judge a boxing match again.
I just wanted to get your opinion. Jamie Speight, it's been great. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, mate. Pleasure.
Cheers, Paul.